Why are we here? How can we be happy? These are questions I've been curious about since a very young age. I'm your host, Anna Goldstein, and this is the Profit with Purpose show. I believe we have the answers within us, but somewhere along the way, we stop trusting ourselves. I'm interviewing top entrepreneurs, healers, and change makers about mindfulness strategies and practical tools to help you carve your path. Join me as you reconnect with your heart and live courageously so that we make the world a better place. Welcome back, Purpose Seekers. This is episode number 188, and I decided that because my book is newly launched, that I would share with you and read to you a few pages of each chapter. So today we're going to start with chapter 1, and chapter 1 is called The Voice in Your Head. When you recognize that there is a voice in your head that pretends to be you and never stops speaking, you're awakening out of your unconscious identification with the stream of thinking. When you notice that voice, you realize that who you are is not the voice, the thinker, but the one who is aware of it. Eckhart Tolle. I was 25 years old and living in a small studio apartment on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. As a girl who grew up in the suburbs of Maryland, I'd moved to New York City 3 years prior with big hopes and dreams for my future, but I was stumbling. I'd already had 4 different jobs, lived in 3 different apartments, and felt completely lost, alone, and isolated. I was consumed by the voice in my head that told me all the things that were wrong with me, and I was worried about my future. Will I ever find my way in my career? Would I ever have a meaningful romantic partnership? How was I going to survive in this city financially? What if things didn't work out and I ended up poor, unhappy, and alone? I obsessed over tracking my food, compulsively measured my belly, wrists, and chin, and constantly checked to see how much I weighed. I desperately wanted to be in a relationship to make myself feel better and further distract me from my problems. But my biggest addiction was that I believed my negative thoughts. I wish there was a switch in my head that I could turn off, but I couldn't. My nightly routine was to stare at the ceiling alone in the dark, thinking I was seriously flawed. I was so consumed by the voice in my head that I spent several years like this, having trouble sleeping, not holding down a steady job, eating junk food, and drinking too much alcohol. I was so unhappy, my confidence plummeted. But deep down, I knew there was more for me. I just wasn't sure what was in my way or how to access the strength within me. That little seed of believing there must be another way became my guiding light to seek answers and solutions to overcome my largest obstacle, my mind. I knew I wasn't the only one struggling. In fact, I was the one many of my friends sought out to talk about their problems. Sometimes we would gab on the phone and complain about our lives for hours on end. Maybe you too have been wondering, how can you deal with the voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, you're not qualified enough, you need more experience, something is wrong with you, you'll never be successful, you're too young or too old. It is possible to stop beating yourself up when you do something quote unquote wrong or make a mistake. What would it be like if you didn't judge others, didn't care what other people thought about you, and instead went for things that you really wanted, even in the face of fear? Maybe you feel like you just weren't born confident, that others have it all figured out, and because of your past experience, you'll never be the person you want to be. Maybe you've done everything you thought would make you feel whole and checked all the boxes, but you're still looking for a deeper sense of joy and fulfillment. You know that you are meant for more, but how can you access your potential? The mind. The brain and mind are both important, and they are different. The brain is matter. It has a shape, size, and form. The mind is formless. You can't see or touch it. The mind is awareness itself. It's unlimited. And because of this, your potential is unlimited. When you learn to direct your attention and awareness, this acts as an invisible light that shines on your thoughts and feelings. It's an observer, there to witness information as it arises. You can use this understanding to change your brain and steer yourself towards confidence. Over the last decade, neuroscience has been studying the effects of contemplative practices on the brain that produce psychological, physical, and spiritual benefits. This research proves that one of our biggest misperceptions is that we need something outside of ourselves to make ourselves happy. Rather, if we focus on the effects of our internal thoughts and emotions, we can find the happiness we seek. All right. Well, that was just a little bit of the first chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't gotten the book, go to my website, annagoldstein.com, and click on my book to grab your copy. And I would love to hear from you. I love hearing what the feedback that I've been getting from people on how they like the book. So you can email me, you can write a review. Also on Amazon is super helpful to me. And more to come. I can't wait to share little glimpses of chapter 2. So go grab the book if you haven't already. Once again, at annagoldstein.com, click on my book. And thank you so much. I hope that this was helpful. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends and family and write a review. It keeps this podcast going. Questions? Email me at info@annagoldstein.com. Remember to carve your path and be kind to someone today.